So today's parent orientation is supported by our corporate sponsor, Target. Together, both Target and Subiendo understand that a student's success is attributed to the support they receive at home. Preparing for college is a daunting task, whether your child is the first in your family to attend college or not. This session includes a team leader panel to help answer questions you may have about college preparation from a student's perspective. And frankly, that's the perspective that matters because they're actually doing it day in and day out. So these current University of students have been in your son or daughter's shoes not too long ago, and they provide a wealth of advice that might be beneficial to you as you prepare for the next year and beyond. We even have 2 students on the panel who participated in the 2011 Subiendo class and are joining us as team leaders today. So this week, your child will have an exhausting and exhilarating week. They will be very tired by the time you see them on Thursday, so let that be a warning. 5 days is truly not enough time, but it is a great start into tapping into their leadership potential and developing the leaders of tomorrow. So tonight, they start with an etiquette dinner. This one session on how to dine and appropriate conversations to have can make all the difference when they are at a business lunch or dinner. These students have all loved this session in the past, and I'm sure it has something to do with the food. Monday is a very long day for our students, but it is an exciting one. This is when they will begin their group work in understanding the problem they are tasked with solving. It's either in healthcare, higher education, or water. They will meet with experts from both the business and political arenas to learn more about the issues they wish to address. Their project encourages exploration of starting a business or crafting a policy. As if that wasn't enough to learn in one day, they will hear about financial literacy and learn the basic principles in budgeting, saving, and planning for the future. If you are worried about your child eating this week, rest assured they will have breakfast, lunches, and dinners and mini snacks throughout the week and are designed to bring in leaders from the community to help put those networking and communication skills to work. Tuesday is a day full of preparing for their presentations, which will be given on Wednesday at the Capitol before media, legislators, staff, and policymakers. These projects will be presented and voted on from their peers. After all their hard work, they will be rewarded with a celebratory dinner with our friends of Subiendo. These are our generous donors of our program and community leaders. On our final day, we take them to the UT Stadium where they will get a behind-the-scenes tour of the athletics facility. But before you are reunited with them, they will participate in a college and career fair and have the opportunity to visit with UT College representatives on a number of career opportunities. And finally, we will reconnect you with your students. It's a great week, and we are excited to host all 80 of these students here on the UT campus. Do y'all have any questions of me about the program? Okay. So again, I want to thank you for driving to Austin to be with all of us and allowing your son or daughter to join our Subiendo network. There is no doubt how pivotal of a role you are playing in shaping who your student is and who they will become. As a mother myself, I understand the gravity we play in supporting our child with their hopes and dreams. As a first-generation college student, I also remember how important a role a mentor played in my own college experience. These mentors are game changers, and it's how they can succeed on campus by having a friend to talk to. So the team leaders we select at Subiendo, like Denise, Ricardo, Javier, and Jennifer, have accepted this responsibility as a mentor not only during the 5 days of the program, but for the year ahead. Your senior will soon be faced with lots of questions, and these terrific team leaders may just have lots of answers. So to moderate our team leader panel, we have Olga Castro, one of our executive team leaders. She's a recent graduate from UT Austin who will be entering law school in the fall. This will be Olga's 3rd and final Subiendo Academy as a team leader, and we are most grateful to have her leadership over the years. With that, I will turn this over to Olga, who will facilitate the next phase of today's orientation. And if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go do the orientation with your students. And please, thank you again for letting your students be part of our program. And Olga, I'll turn this over to you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Leticia, for your nice words. So these students up here that we have are our team leaders for the week. we will kind of go over any questions that you may have as far as college preparedness, college readiness, what students can expect in college. And if you have any questions about the week as well, we can kind of discuss all of that. So right now, this is just a Q&A for you to kind of get all of your questions out and just get as much information as possible. So I'll have my team leaders go ahead and introduce themselves so you can get to know them a little bit.
Hi, I'm Denise Martinez. I am going to be a senior here at the University of Texas, and I'm studying social work.
My name is Ricardo Espitia. I'm also going to be a senior here in the fall, and I'm studying international relations and geography.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Sosa. I'm going to be a sophomore here studying history.
Hi, my name is Javier Avalos. I'm studying mechanical engineering at the University of Texas at El Paso, and I'm going to be a sophomore.
Great. So these are the wonderful people that your students will be spending the whole week with. So ask us as many questions as you have, anything that may come up to mind. Not all at once.
Like the program and everything, like what time of the day are they usually done, the students?
That's a good question. So it's a pretty packed program. They have programming pretty much from 8 a.m. to midnight every day. And so they'll have breaks around meal times and in between sessions, but pretty much they go from session to session to session until midnight. So it's pretty busy.
My question is, are they going to always have somebody watching them while they're here? I mean,
That's a good question. Will there be someone watching them at all times?
Definitely. We'll try to be around them as much as possible.
And the program is also set up that the buildings that we're all in, we're generally all in them together in similar spaces. So it's very easy to keep an eye on everyone with our 80 students as well as all of the team leads. And then in addition, we have assistant team leaders this year that are assisting us whenever we do need some extra hands on deck. So that definitely makes it really efficient for the students and for the team leads.
And we usually have 2 team leaders per group of students. So we will have at least 1 team leader with a group of students at all times. And also at night we do room checks to make sure everyone is in the rooms and no one can get in and out of the building after a certain time.
Also, for peace of mind, they're not allowed to leave campus. So they will be on campus in the buildings all week.
Are they going to be around campus or just in one place?
Yeah, that's a
working
good question.
Around campus?
Where will it be working most of the time?
We will be working most of the time at the Union. It's closer to the tower, and also at the Student Activity Center, which is right next to the gym.
So they're going to walk around, far from place to
No.
place?
No, the furthest they'll walk is from their dormitory where everybody went this morning to the first meeting place in the middle of campus. But other than that, most of the sessions will be held in one building. So it should be pretty contained. Any other questions about the week? Oh, yeah.
in the event that they, for example, get a headache or something, is there somewhere they could go to get, Tylenol or buy Tylenol or something?
Yeah, we absolutely have first aid kit. We have people on deck that have medication if they need anything. Of course, if there is an emergency that occurs, you will be notified. Leticia and our program coordinator will be here for most of the camp and will be also ready if there's an emergency as well. So, yeah, there are definitely people around making sure that they're okay.
They need to have their cell phone off.
So that's a good question.
Off the phone.
What are the cell phone policies?
Well, for the cell phones, they're not allowed to use them while there's a presenter because we want their attention to be for them. But they will have their cell phones, so if you guys do need to contact them in case of anything happens, you guys can do so.
Another thing, we're trying to push proper etiquette on social media aspects, so teaching them how to correctly use Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, using that as a professional booster. So we're trying to teach them how to use that as well throughout the week. But like Javier said, we definitely don't want them using them while people are up there presenting.
That being said, if y'all are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Subiendo 2013 is also on all modes of communication and social media. So if you want to see what your students are up to, you can check out pictures on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll be on Twitter. That's all new for us, so we're excited.
Facebook? Facebook give you on Subiendo something? Facebook?
Yes, we have our Subiendo Academy page. We also have our Subiendo 2013 page on Facebook, so you can just search it on Facebook and you should be able to see the pictures. Good question.
I'm just kind of curious. Y'all came back.
Yeah.
What did y'all take away from here after your first experience? What kind of stuck with you? What did you learn? Whether it was interactions or the educational piece, what did y'all take away?
Great question.
There's actually a lot that I took from it because before Subiendo, I was just a regular high school student. I played sports, I did good in school, so I was pretty average. But afterwards, I went back my senior year. I was always varsity, so when I went back and I saw like my team, I automatically decided, I want to be team captain because I think I can do this, and I did it very well. So we placed top in the city, so I learned how to lead a team effectively. And also, I learned that I didn't want my team to fail, so I also helped them in academics and how to do that. So I took a lot more than I actually thought I did, because I didn't think, not that I didn't think about it, but it was just more things that I was implementing that I learned here. So you take back a lot. So now in college, I became vice president of an engineering organization my freshman year. So they're going to go back really equipped.
Jenny?
One thing I took away from it was just the mentoring process, because during the camp, like, the counselors are always with them. But the thing that matters the most is that the counselors, right after the trip and the camp, they're always on top of things to try and get them resources or internships. Like, try to tell them more about things that a certain student wouldn't know without that form of communication.
Like actually we were in the same team. Our mentor, actually, I needed help on my resume, and I told her what I was good at, and I kind of did this, and she helped me out a lot. So, and we will be doing the same. Now I know how to make resumes really good. So your child would be able to come back to me and ask me for help. That, application processes, scholarships, anything else.
Yeah, this is my third year as a team leader, and so I just keep coming back for more because it's such a great program. I learn a lot from the students, and I learn a lot from myself. Every year I feel like I learn how to be an even better leader. And from the students, I just, like Jenny said, the mentoring process is amazing. You get that reciprocity of like learning from each other, and there's just so much to learn from the students younger than us. They're only a couple years younger than me. And then there's just so much new technology and new terms and new things like that that I learn every year. And so it's just important to always be learning from other people, I think.
Subiendo is a really unique program in that we all get to mentor each other as well as mentor the students. We also have really incredible speakers that come throughout the week who also serve as mentors later on for our students as well as us. I've worked with Subiendo for 3 years and have been on the executive team for 2. So I've seen the planning that goes on on one side, and then I see how it all comes together on the other. So it's pretty incredible to meet all those people and kind of have that network. I saw a hand in the back.
Like during their stay here, is there any exposure to the students as far as applying for financial aid?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are a lot of other camps going on during the summer at UT, and there aren't a lot of students that are around campus. Some of them are in summer classes, but not very many. So we don't have a lot of exposure to campus offices or anything like that because it's a really busy week. However, the students do have all of our team leaders who are current students in college and can help with any financial aid questions or anything like that. Also, if you have any questions today, we can also kind of hash that out too.
You mentioned guest speakers. Would you be able to elaborate on who's coming to speak with them and stuff on some of these lunches or dinners?
That is a great question.
I
So we
don't have
have,
the list.
I don't have the list of speakers up with me, but we do have people from Congress coming from the Capitol to speak. We also have well-known business leaders and community leaders from Austin and in surrounding areas. We definitely have a list, and I wish I could read off the names, but I don't have it with me. But we do have just really incredible people that are willing to help students and are really interested in.
Will that be on the Subiendo Facebook on who the guest speakers are?
We can definitely put that up for you. Yeah, absolutely.
I think we even have an astronaut, right?
We had an astronaut last
last
year.
year.
Hmm.
So they're gonna have teachers, or only you're like a leader gonna help them? Or they have teachers?
Yes. So for all of so the main project our students have is they have sort of this problem that they're presented with, which I'm sure that you've heard about, right? Researching a little bit and reading, hopefully. So the students are presented with this problem in a specific area of society today in Texas, whether it be water, healthcare, or education. So for every problem, we have leaders in the community who are well versed in that problem and how to solve it, and how to how to help students take steps to create a problem solving solution, I guess, for that specific problem. So we do have people that are working in the areas right now that they kind of are trying to work in as students. Does anybody want to elaborate on that? No?
You explained it pretty well.
Great.
On that, when they do their presentation, what was that, they held that again?
So their presentation on Wednesday is going to be held at the Capitol, and it will be sort of a full morning event. We will have, hopefully, since they're still in session right now, we're not sure how many people from the Capitol will be able to come out. However, we will have people who are currently serving in our Texas Congress to come out and ask questions and kind of see how their program is going to work and if it's feasible. But that's where they'll be presenting.
Is that open?
Is that, I believe so, yes. We'll also be filming that as well, so it will be posted too. Good question. Any other questions? Do you have any questions about college life, next steps for your student? Anything that may be coming up that y'all are wondering?
When they come into college and they live on the dorms and stuff, how does that go with the assignment of who bunks with them in their room and stuff? It's just, they put all freshmen in one section, sophomores in the different, or is it all, for example, is one dorm mixed with freshmen through seniors?
Yeah, good question. How does housing work?
So it's definitely based on when you apply for housing. So a lot of freshmen do choose to live on campus. The only dorms on campus that really have restrictions are the all girls and the all boy dorm on campus, and there's 14 dorms in total, and 3 of them are like that. 2 are all girls and 1 is all boy. But they can sign up for that, so the students can select which dorm they would like to be in, and then based on when they apply for their housing, and this is, obviously is here at UT, they can select to partner up with someone that they want to be roommates, or they can go into like a potluck in which they would be assigned randomly. But on the roommate assignment, they do like a simple survey like, do you like to study with music? What time do you normally go to sleep and get up? So the university does try to match them as well as they can. And a lot of times students have a good experience, other times they don't, but there's always room to change at semester if for some reason it doesn't work out. And their RAs are there to assist and facilitate throughout the semester as well. I lived on campus my freshman year and I had a really good roommate experience. I didn't know him. We found each other on Facebook in the summer and then decided to be roommates, and it worked out really well. And then I lived in Jester, so there were 3,000 other students living in there as well, and they range from freshmen to seniors.
And the ones that are co-ed, the rooms themselves are paired up with same sex, right? The rooms themselves are going to be co-ed.
Correct, exactly.
Right.
So most of the dorms are split up by halls, the ones that have community bathrooms. For example, the dorm that we're staying in right now, Sanjak, or that the students are staying in, right now we have them separated, boys on one side, girls on the other side, but because the dorms themselves have bathrooms inside them, they are boy, girl, boy, girl. So they have the chance to be next door neighbors with the opposite sex, but they'll be rooming with someone of the same sex.
And how does it work at UTEP? How you
At
elaborate on
UTEP,
that?
actually, I'm from El Paso, so I live at home and I drive to school every day. So I wouldn't be able to imply much on housing, but it is a little difficult because I live 45 minutes away from school, So gas is a big, like, I spend a lot of money on gas, probably like $50 to $60 a week if I just go to school and back. And so it can be pretty hard sometimes.
My question is, the gentleman that goes here,
Mhm.
is it hard to get the student into the all-girl dorm?
Is it hard to get into all girls?
I mean, is there like a
Did you-
time for you to?
Well, I didn't choose to be in an all-girls dorm, but I know I had friends that did, and so far I know that it's not that hard to get in it, just because there's not a lot of students that want to be in an all-girls or all-boys dorm. But they are very nice, and the rooms are pretty, it's a pretty good room, so.
And both of the all-girls dorms have dining halls in them, so that's really, really convenient for the students that
Yeah.
get to live there.
Yeah, I actually lived in Kinsolving my first year, which is one of the 2 all-girls dorms on campus. It was fairly easy. It was one of my 2 top choices on my list, and I had a great time. It was the dining hall was downstairs. I met most of my friends through the dormitory, so I haven't heard that it's difficult to get in, and I had a great time when I lived there. So.
Is there a good time to start applying for the houses?
Once your student gets accepted into the university, there'll be an option for them to start applying for housing. I wasn't sure once I got accepted to UT if I was coming here, but I had heard that I should go ahead and apply for housing right away just to make sure. So I went ahead and applied for housing, and then the roommate that I selected, he was lower on the list, but because I had applied earlier, he was bumped up. So then we got one of our first choices, which we chose the Jester dormitory. So if your student does get into the university and does want to live on campus, I do suggest that they go ahead and at least apply for housing so that application's on file. So even if they choose to come, so if they do decide to come, they're at least high on the list, and if not, then it's okay.
This past year is actually the first year that we weren't able to provide housing for all of the incoming freshmen on campus. So it is getting a little bit more competitive to live on campus your first year. So I would say as soon as your student finds out that they're admitted, if they want to live on campus, go ahead and fill out that application.
Is there preference for the housing, like, for students who are not close by here, or is it just?
No, it's actually on a wait list. So the earlier that you fill out your application in the year is where you're going to be placed on that list when you apply for housing. So the earlier you can submit your application and get in, then the earlier it is that you're gonna be able to apply for housing, and the earlier you'll get in.
From a standpoint of someone who does, like we have freshmen coming that will be coming in, how do you know when you say you chose a particular dorm? What are we looking for to know what dorms to even look at to put them at?
Yeah. How do you decide on a dorm?
Well, for the University of Texas, if you go, I'm not sure where exactly on the website, but on the website there is a specific dorm life webpage, and so you can take virtual tours of each hall, and you can read the comments that the students make, and you can read the amenities it has, if they have laundry rooms, if they have what kind of bathrooms they have, what kind of rec rooms and things like that. So there's a lot of sources online. And also, I believe on some of them, you can get tours, but I'm pretty sure you have to book that in advance. So there's also that aspect of it.
I think it just depends kind of what the student is looking for. So if the student, if it's very important to them that they live in a small dormitory with only a couple of hundred people, that might be how they select their top choice. Or if they want to be really close to this side of campus, that also might be a factor that goes into it. Or if they want to live in a dorm that has a dining hall in it. So I think it just depends on what the student specifically is looking for, but all the dorms are great, and they all provide a very different experience, but a very good one.
They have those.
No, you're fine.
Is it a requirement that freshmen have to live here on dorms here?
It is not required at UT that freshmen live on campus. We strongly recommend it because it's easier for them to get around and make friends, but it's not a requirement.
They wanna just experience the first year because my daughter, this was her first year right here, and she was living in the dorm.
Mhm.
But now she want to decide to live in an apartment. She had the apartment ready for next year.
Right.
But she was 1 year right here.
And she was able to make friends
Yeah,
and kind of get
because
around.
she says too small.
Mhm.
They have roommate. They can't even move from one side to the other. Yeah.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, she was living in the dorms over there by Guadalupe.
Mhm.
Yeah, and she says too small. The room is too small.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely
and,
happens.
My old daughter, she was living right here for 2 years. She graduated 2 years ago from here too.
Mhm.
and she moved to the apartment. She was living at 2 years right here and 2 years in apartment, 3 years in apartment.
Yeah, lots of housing options for sure.
And another one, she was like, right here.
Live on campus. You had a question?
Do y'all have the honors living? I know some universities do.
We do have honors dormitories. They're on the north side of campus, and they're called the Honors Quad. There are actually 3 of them in the quad, so it doesn't make sense. But so there are some honors options if your student wants to live there.
And those are bigger?
They're probably about the same size. There are a couple hundred students in each dormitory. Your student does have to be admitted into the honors program before they can apply to the honors housing. But if they're in an honors program, they don't have to live in the honors dorms.
Are they bigger apartments or rooms? Or
Nope, they're about the same.
size?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good question.
College life, dormitories. You have all female dormitories, all male, and then you have a mixed dormitory?
Correct.
How is, can you explain, maybe mixed?
So it depends on the dorm. A lot of times they're separated by floor. Other times they're separated by hallway. So you could be on the same floor, and then half of the floor is all males and half is all females. And so it just kind of depends which dorm it is, but a lot of times they're separated by floor or just by hallway.
And they each have their separate bathrooms and separate shower and separate things like that.
Yeah, they're all separate.
Yeah.
I mean, they see each other, but it's all kept very separate. Definitely.
I know that this is going to be a strange question maybe because y'all are representing UT, but the party and the alcohol and all, has there been problems here at UT that can be disclosed? Or, I'm just curious, like, how do y'all prevent, if y'all do at all, people coming in as freshmen or underage, and with alcohol and stuff, would there be alcohol in the rooms?
So UT is a dry campus, so there's no alcohol on campus at all, and students who are underage cannot drink at all. It's not something that UT condones, obviously. Also, there are a lot of organizations that students can get involved in and a lot of people that they can meet, and it's really up to the student at this point to decide kind of what it is that they're going to get involved in once they get into campus. Obviously, if going to a party or hanging out with, friends that do that is an option for them. And it's really up to the students who come to campus to decide kind of what they want to be a part of, for sure.
Right, and the students, before they can register in the fall, they have to complete 2 sections of what's called Alcohol EDU. And this is an online course that students take to teach them about the deficits and the precautions that come with consuming alcohol. And drugs on campus, both legally and physically. So students, UT does make a strong effort to at least expose them to the dangers for it, and so that then the students can make their own decisions after that. And then the residential coordinators here in the dorms, also do a very good job at checking rooms. And then after hours, only students that have permission to be in that dormitory that live there can swipe in. They don't let anyone else in the dorms after that hour.
Also, the UT Police Department is very on top of things here. They're everywhere, and they're really strict on public intoxication and alcohol on campus.
Good question.
What were some of the biggest adjustments that you all had to experience in your first year?
Good question.
Want to go down?
For me, it was definitely studying because, like your children, I was a top student. I never really had to try that hard to learn the material that was given to me. But throughout the year, you have to find out how you want to study and how you learn because UT is a whole different ballgame. Once you go to college, things change, and you have to learn how you can adjust to the information that you are garnering.
I think for me, my freshman year, I'm from Round Rock, so I didn't come very far away from school. Round Rock's probably half an hour away from here. So I think for me, I know I had to make a conscious effort to not stick to my high school friends because it's very, very easy to, the people that you come to UT with. And so for some students, it's a lot easier than others. For me, I found myself very comfortable with my friends, but wanting to meet other people. So that's why I chose to room with someone I didn't go to high school with. And it really wasn't until my second semester where I joined a couple of organizations is when I was really able to branch out beyond my Round Rock and my Austin area friends to really get to know other people and kind of experience new things and kind of make a new identity for myself. So being close to school, that was kind of hard. And you know, since we're all from the Texas area, there's if your student does come here, it's gonna be, or wherever they go, there may or may not be students from the high school that go there. So it does need to be a very conscious effort just to kind of disengage yourself from those people if that's what you want, to get a new experience, meet new people, and things like that.
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay, definitely, because the studying habits, in high school I didn't really have to try. I did what I had to do, and then I got good grades. But when I came to college, it was a wake-up call because classes are a lot harder than I thought they would be. So I had to go. I remember I walked into my calculus class. The professor was talking and saying all these things, and I don't know what he was talking about. Yeah, I didn't know a word he was saying. So I didn't just have to learn what he was talking about, but I had to learn how to understand what he was trying to teach so I can learn the material itself. So I had to go back and read the book and actually read the definitions of what he was trying to say. So sometimes you have to work twice as hard, but then it becomes easier because you just pick up study habits, and it just becomes second nature. So when you're in the class, he makes a joke and you actually understand it this time around. So it becomes easier after a while.
Can you change the subject?
Cool. Yeah. Question? Yes.
Sí, sí, hablo español, sí.
¿Tú qué experiencia le podías dar a los jóvenes para decir cómo salir adelante?
Adelante, pues es motivación. A mí, a muchos niños, no sé, como yo me encontraba, no me quería levantar, pero yo entendí, sabes que soy el mayor de la familia y tengo que ser el ejemplo. Yo me quiero levantar más temprano y estudiar antes de ir a la clase para ser mejor, para que todos mis primos y mis hermanas puedan hacer mejor que yo. So what I was saying is sometimes it is hard to wake up from bed because, I mean, you're really tired and you studied all night. But then I realized, like, I'm the oldest. I have to set the example for all my cousins and my younger siblings. So I have to be the best that I can be so one day that they can be better than me. So, I mean, in high school I tried really hard to get into really good science classes. And that helped me out because I graduated with 6 science credits. Now I see some of my cousins in high school and they're doing AP classes and they're getting hundreds in them. And another one is in a robotics national competition right now. So you notice that once you try hard, the next generation or the one after you will do better.
Yeah.
So I try to set the example, so that for me it's motivation on its own.
You mentioned right now that going from your high school class to your actual college class, you know, it's a lot bigger and everything. So, I mean, you get out of class and you weren't sure what was just, you know, said and stuff. It is an eye-opening, you know, big change for them. But is there like a tutorial that they can look online? What is there for them, like, if they don't want to? You know, you're going from a class of 30 to I don't know how many are in one class.
Yeah.
I know earlier the speaker said 850, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
We don't have classes that big, but
Actually,
Maybe in his day.
I've been in classes where there's more than 100 people, and I'm used to being the one that's like, oh, I can answer that for you. Like, the teacher will ask a question. So when there's more kids that are smarter than you now, it's a lot. I felt like, you know what, this is hard. So I actually got scared, but then I realized, like, I have to try harder now so I can be better. So sometimes it is hard, but like we said, we're all mentors. So if they have any questions at all, or if they're struggling with anything, we'll be able to help them and give them our experience and how to
Like
push
if they're
forward.
in a class, for example, algebra.
Okay.
Or calculus. He's in calculus class and he's sitting there and he's not really grasping or understanding what they're saying. What does he do? Like, if he's given an assignment right now in school, he can go back to class and he'll ask his teacher, you know, I didn't get this, or go in early, and the teacher will help him before he does his assignment. Is there a tutorial or something, or is there a website or an email that they'll be able to have communication to where he could ask questions? Because if he doesn't understand something, how do you go back to your dorm and do the work when you don't know what was just instructed to you?
So what are
The
resources?
professors have office hours, so you can go in and ask them questions, and they also usually give their email address, so they can set up an appointment with them and go to their office hours and ask anything they want. And also, in a lot of big classes, I found that a lot of the people I sat around were having trouble as well, so we formed a study group and helped each other out that way. And Forgot what I was gonna say.
And oftentimes
But,
the resources are online on the Blackboard website, so students can log in with their IDs, and then they'll be able to get a list of all the classes they're taking. And oftentimes professors do use that to either put up PowerPoint presentations or reviews or step-by-step instructions, maybe videos. And then in addition, especially in those bigger classes, they have what's called teaching assistants or TAs, and they're also available. Normally, they're graduate students here at the university that can assist them with the specific lesson plans, and oftentimes they can be more accessible, or students may feel more comfortable going to the teaching assistants because they are still students as well. But they do have the liberty of going to the professors, the teaching assistants, to the online resources, and then making study groups with the people that they sit around and whatnot.
And also, a lot of the big freshman classes, like I know for my biology class, there was separate discussion groups. So then, like the whole big class, they would separate them into like 3 different groups, and so they would meet together a different day, different time with the TA and have their own class.
And also they're giving a syllabus, so it has the calendar of what you're going to go over that day. So for example, you have the section he's going to cover that day. So all they have to do is look at the calendar, look at the date, and see the section, so they can go back and read the book. And if they don't understand it then they can go to the teacher's assistants and the teacher's office hours as well.
And here at UT, we also have a student tutoring center called the Sylvan Learning Center. And it is, every student comes in with 13 hours of free tutoring. I'm sorry, it's the Sanger Learning Center. Every student comes in with 13 hours of free tutoring. They can go in there and ask any questions about whatever subject it is that they have. Many of the intro classes that are math and science and, you know, really most difficult for most students also have separate tutoring sections that are held in just your dormitory every week as well. So there are tons of resources for the students. They just need to reach out to them.
Work and everything. Is that going to be part of the program? Is like opening their eyes to it and say this is going to be much different? Of course, they're going to say, yeah, we know, but some of them might not really realize how different.
Yeah,
it's going to be.
absolutely.
Part of the program.
Tomorrow we'll have a team leader panel, which is going to be very similar to this, where the students will be able to ask any and all questions about college. Also today they're in a student orientation right now, which also will go over a little bit about what college is like and what they can expect, not only for the week, but for when they get here. Also, after the camp is over, all of our team leaders who will be still in mentorship positions will be available to ask any or to answer any questions that the students may have about college adjusting. Good question. Anything else? This has been a good conversation. So I'm going to ask one question of our team leaders. What has been your most favorite part about attending your university?
There's so many parts. I don't understand. I think for me, coming to the University of Texas has really shown me that there's a lot of resources here on campus that can be easily utilized. There's a lot of different departments, organizations, events that occur on campus, and you can get a list of all the events going on campus daily. So there's definitely a lot of scholarships, study abroad, internship, connections, alumni, just resources that you can get involved with and you have access to. It just takes the student to be self-motivated and to have that self-initiative to just go seek those resources, and then they'll be able to, pretty much do anything that they really want if they really focus and do the research and take the time to just go get any type of approvals that they need or to go to certain events or meetings. I've enjoyed that part of the resources that comes with the university. And then in addition to meeting a lot of new friends that I know I'll have for a long time.
Yes, definitely. Like meeting friends, it's really cool because now in college, you're working for something. So you get to meet people with the same interests. Like when you join an organization, you can join it for same interests, maybe sports. Or like I did, I went to engineering. So I get to meet people who want to do like make robots or do this. So it's really cool for me to talk to someone about something that really interests me. So I've noticed that it helps me out a lot to push forward and want to study more, so I can learn more and then I can be more useful, I guess.
Like Ricardo said, there are so many things that you wouldn't expect coming to a big school like UT. Because when I was in high school, one of my friends did not approve of me even trying to get here. Because she said, "What if you go to UT, you'll just be a number. Why are you going to go there?" But that's not always the case, because since my high school wouldn't send a lot of students to UT, they have a special program here on campus called the Longhorn Scholars Program. And you gain another family, another group of people to talk to about your experiences, and they give you so many other resources. Like, I didn't have to pay for certain things like a housing fee because of the school that I went to, and I have never felt like just a number, even in my 300-person class. So there's always things that they can experience here at a big campus or a small campus.
And for me, it was just seeing the change in myself. I used to be very, very, very shy, and because I come from a very small high school, where I knew everybody. I grew up with everybody from K through 12th grade, and so coming to UT, it was a very big shock. It took me a long time to get acquainted with the university and all these students everywhere, but just joining a bunch of organizations and getting involved a lot, like they've been talking about, has really helped make the change in me and helping me become a better leader. So just all the opportunities that are here in this campus are just amazing.
Any final questions? Yeah.
Como algo diferente de todo lo que están hablando. I'm gonna make the question in Spanish. I don't know everybody's in Spanish. Algo diferente de todo lo que están hablando. Es posible porque todo lo que ha pasado en las escuelas, en las universidades, lo que ha pasado malo. ¿Verdad? Que llegan a chequear las backpacks de los que alguien traiga weapons, algo, you know, porque ha
Like
pasado
backpack
muchas
checking
cosas.
for
Mi hija
weapons.
cuando ella estaba aquí, la que ya graduó, pasaron varias cosas aquí. So, es posible que les lleguen a chequear los backpacks y no traen.
Ahorita no checan las bolsas ni nada aquí en la universidad. No sé si sería algo que van a hacer en el futuro, pero ahorita no es algo que hacen. No. So the question was, with all of the sort of things that have happened on college campuses recently, are bags or backpacks checked on campuses at all? And right now we don't actually have a policy in place for any of that, but in the future, who's to say? Security campus is really great though. Our UT Police Department is just down the street, and their response time to any emergency on campus is under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
They keep our students as safe as possible. We have a campus-wide email system, text messaging system. They're on Facebook, they're on Twitter. So they do as much as they possibly can to make sure that the students are aware of anything that happens on campus. And if there's an emergency, they let us know right away.
And the first and the biggest one happened here, one of the biggest ones happened.
Yeah.
That is correct. Mm-hmm.
I have one more question on,
Yes.
I guess, focusing on safety. What if you live off campus, towards, west? I mean, do you have any type of sometimes the dorms provide them if it's a private housing, right? I mean, like if somebody to walk with them when they leave the library at night, but the university wouldn't provide anybody to walk with them that way, would they?
So our university police department would actually be able to escort and or drive students to nearby apartments that are really, really immediately close to the campus. Most of the time our students who walk other students to their dormitories do not go off of campus, but our UT Police Department would definitely be available in that situation, for sure. I have walked alone many times at night, leaving the library, going to my parking garage, and I've never felt unsafe on campus. It's a really well lit campus at night, and we have call boxes all over campus. I'm not sure if you've seen them. They're like huge yellow with blue buttons on them. If at any point at any time during the day a student feels unsafe, they can run up to those call boxes and hit that call button, and it connects to the UT Police Department, and then they take their measures right after that, and get to wherever it is that they need to meet the student. So I just walking around on campus, me being by myself, I've never felt unsafe. Have y'all had any experiences on campus with safety?
No.
It's been very safe. I guess just speaking about kind of the off-campus thing, last year whenever there was the bomb threat on campus, I was still in my apartment and I got the same text message that my sister got living on campus at the same time. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to go to class today. That's fine. But yeah, and it's Oliver, like Olga was saying, social media, and if anything ever is going on, everyone's going to know about it within like 2 minutes. So.
Yeah, it's a really fast system. Yes.
Going back to scholarships, I'm sorry. She was talking about some of the scholarships that have good is the need-based scholarships here? Just because my daughter, we went out of our way to get her into a high school that was like top in Fort Worth, and so we got her in without realizing that there's a lot of colleges that won't give her certain financial aid because she's in that high school, you know, because they're one of the top ranked high schools, and they don't feel that they need as much financial aid. Unfortunately, we don't have what most of the families have there, so she gets denied. You know, well, we've been looking around the colleges, and they've been saying that she doesn't qualify for certain scholarships because of the high school she's at. And
So concerning need-based aid, students should fill out the federal application for, or the free application for federal student funding, or the FAFSA, and that is done through the federal government. They determine how much money it is that the parents and families can provide for the student's education, and a lot of times most of the grants, loans, and scholarships are provided through that program. UT does have a separate scholarship system. It's called, it's on our website, it's the texasscholarships.org, and students can apply through scholarships that way as well. Just I guess information, just students coming in, it is becoming more difficult for students to get scholarships right when they get here to UT. And that's just because the funding is being cut dramatically. However, once students get here and establish a GPA, it is much more easy to get scholarships on campus, mostly because students forget to continue to apply to scholarships, but also because once they're a student, it's easy for them to apply to scholarships in their department and their majors. And so there is money there. It's just a matter of the students looking around. Scholarship, any?
Right, I think what you were saying, Olga, kind of goes really, really well. So my younger sister goes here as well. I mean, she was first admitted into the university. She was offered her full ride. I wasn't. So I got here, and then I had loans and whatnot on my financial aid package. And then kind of like Olga was saying, I applied to a scholarship program that Olga was also in. And then I was able to get a really good amount of funding that way. So it is a really strong matter of just continuing those scholarships, because there's lots of funding. Right away, a lot of freshmen will kind of take it away at first, and then some students won't meet the requirements to continue that one, and that opens it up for other students to get the next year. So it's vitally important to look for both sources here at the university and then outside sources from the community or other foundations that provide scholarships and financial aid for students.
Yeah, it's important for the students to just really keep at it. I remember when I first applied to college, I applied to hundreds of scholarships. It was just nonstop applications, and one of them just worked out. So it's important. I know the student's going to be stressed this whole semester, and it's going to be application time and scholarship time, but just keep telling them, apply to those scholarships, because it's going to pay off. It's just a matter of when they get it and, the amount. And those little tiny amounts, don't say, oh, $500 isn't going to help me, because those little $500 will add up quickly. So, yeah, it's really important for them to just keep at it. Good questions.
Realistically, how many, I would say, applications did each of you apply for as far as scholarships are concerned? Really, in the end, how many did you all, apply to? Because, our daughter is a junior this year, and so she's like, I'm going to have to start applying. Okay. We want to know more or less what was the big one for you, and how many did you have to apply to get that big one?
So, go ahead.
No, I applied for at least 15 scholarships locally and through my universities that I was applying to individually, and then so I got 3 or 4 of them worked out with $1,000 here, $1,500 there, $500 here. Then when I got to UT, I applied for a big scholarship, and then I ended up getting it. I think the most important information is if you start an application, you can get halfway through and then think, I should just finish it. If you go with that mentality, if you're starting it, you might as well just put all of your effort into it, even if it's a little bit more stressful, it takes a little bit more time, because you never know when it's going to pay off. I applied to the scholarship I have now at UT. I ended up applying very close to the end of the deadline, and I was like, should I really work on this last essay or shouldn't I? And I was just like, I'm applying for it, I'm almost done. I might as well just do it really, really well. I also save all of my applications, and I have little titles that okay, this one's for someone special in my life that I need to talk about. This one's for like a hardship I went through. This one's for something else. So just keep those. You can kind of cater it towards whatever the application is asking for. Because a lot of times the topics are similar. What you want to do with your life. Tell us about something you've gone through. So just keeping that aware will go a long ways. But I probably applied to like 15 scholarships at least.
Yeah, so we provided some scholarship resources, but also on every university's website, they're going to have a separate scholarship website for the students. So whatever school it is that your students are applying to, tell them, okay, fill out the application, but definitely make sure to look at that scholarship website on all the university websites. There are also really cool search engines that I think are on your resources. There's a FastWeb website that provides a lot of help for scholarships. Hispanic Scholarship Fund, Hispanic Scholarship Consortium are really big ones that have a lot of scholarship money that a lot of students have won. But through your university is where you're going to find most of the scholarships, I think, for sure.
High school counselors can also be a really good resource for scholarships because they may have access to
the
local ones that are typically less competitive because less students apply for them and the pool is not as large.
Can they start applying for the scholarships is the first, when they start senior year?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I would start
Actually,
now.
Please do. Yeah.
I would start this summer.
The
Yeah.
more scholarship you get, the more money you get.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. More scholarships, more opportunities. Yeah, I applied to tons of them and was really lucky to be able to get a full ride to UT. So you just don't know, when you're gonna get it. So start ASAP.
When you make the FAFSA, FAFSA is you automatically get a scholarship now, right? You need to apply for a scholarship, right?
No, right, yeah. So when you fill out the FAFSA, it is only federal funding that they're looking at. And so you may get some scholarships through that, but you'd mostly get grants and loans from the federal government. So the scholarships applications are usually separate. Yes.
Is UT Austin part of Westbridge
UT
then?
Austin is not a part of Questbridge. We're not a Questbridge school. I don't know if there are plans to change that, but we're not on that system right now. Good question.
Okay. The guide earlier when we were at Jester mentioned your eating program, and they have
Bevo Bucks.
Okay,
Yeah.
what is that? How do you get it? I'm curious.
Well, that usually comes with your meal plan if you do have a meal plan. And they'll get a certain amount. I think it's like $300, but I think they might have bumped it up to $400, but I'm not sure. And if they finish those Bevo Bucks, the parents or themselves can just add more with their bank account. So it's always like it's like a small card, like a debit card, but it's on your ID.
Right, and the way that the meal plan works is if you live on campus, you get, I think, $1,400 to last you for the full year. Eating at the different dining halls on campus, in addition to the $400 or $300 in Bevo Bucks, that can be used on off-campus, like Jack in the Box or Wendy's or Austin's Pizza, different local vendors that you can use that as like a card.
And the meal system is different for every university as well. Here at UT, we only have one meal plan, and it's the $1,700, and it goes for the whole year. Good question. Any other final questions that y'all may have? Anything you're wondering? Okay, well, we can end just a little bit early to give y'all a bathroom break, and y'all can grab some water if you want. Thank you so much for coming and supporting your student and allowing them to be a part of Subiendo, because they're definitely going to have a great time and they're going to have a great network. Please feel free to reach out to us and encourage your students to fill out those applications for college and to contact their team leaders if they need any help, okay? If there are no more questions, we're going to go ahead and release y'all. Thank you very much. Y'all have a safe drive home. Thank y'all for coming. Have a good day.